by a man named Austin Peterson, a libertarian, a modern-day freedom fighter who would fulfill the destiny set in motion centuries before. The crystal called to him, and with it, Austin took up the mantle of the colonial Jedi, determined to bring balance back to the force of liberty in the United States. Through his show, the Wake Up America show, Austin Peterson became the voice of resistance, the spark of rebellion against the creeping darkness of tyranny. With the power of the Founding Fathers' crystal, he fights not with lightsabers or blasters, but with the force of truth, reason, and unwavering dedication to the principles of liberty. So remember, young Padawan, the fight for freedom is never easy, but with courage, unity, and a little bit of force on your side, even the darkest Sith can be vanquished. May the force of freedom be with you, always. In a galaxy not so far away, but a couple of centuries ago, a great struggle unfolded. A time of turmoil, where the force of freedom clashed against the oppressive grip of tyranny. This is the story of the Founding Fathers, the brave Jedi of the colonies, who dared to defy the dark side of the Redcoat Sith. Master George Washington, leader of the colonial Jedi, was no ordinary soldier. With a flintlock blaster in one hand, capable of delivering precise shots with the power of 1,000 musket balls, and a lightsaber forged from the ancient Liberty crystals, Washington was the beacon of hope in the darkness that covered the 13 colonies. And then there was Benjamin Franklin, the Yoda of the Revolution. Wise, cunning, and always a few steps ahead, Franklin's mind was sharper than his lightsaber, which he personally modified to discharge bolts of lightning, perfect for frying any Redcoat Sith foolish enough to cross his path. But the colonial Jedi were not without opposition. The Redcoat Sith, led by the Dark Lord Cornwallis, had crossed the Atlantic, bringing with them the dark side of taxation without representation. Their red lightsabers blazed like the very flames of oppression, ready to extinguish the light of liberty forever. The battles were fierce, and the stakes higher than the price of tea in Boston Harbor. At Bunker Hill, the colonial Jedi held their ground, their flintlock blasters firing energy bolts that could punch through the toughest redcoat armor. With each pull unlocking today's Wake Up America show bonus content. Today, thank you for unlocking the Wake Up America show's bonus content. Your financial not so far away, but a couple of centuries ago, a great struggle unfolded. A time of turmoil, where the force of freedom clashed against the oppressive grip of tyranny. This is the story of the Founding Fathers, the brave Jedi of the colonies, who dared to defy the dark side of the Redcoat Sith. Master George Washington, leader of the colonial Jedi, was no ordinary soldier. With a flintlock blaster in one hand, capable of delivering precise shots with the power of 1,000 musket balls, and a lightsaber forged from the ancient Liberty crystals, Washington was the beacon of hope in the darkness that covered the 13 colonies. And then there was Benjamin Franklin, the Yoda of the Revolution. Wise, cunning, and always a few steps ahead, Franklin's mind was sharper than his lightsaber, which he personally modified to discharge bolts of lightning, perfect for frying any Redcoat Sith foolish enough to cross his path. But the colonial Jedi were not without opposition. The Redcoat Sith, led by the Dark Lord Cornwallis, had crossed the Atlantic, bringing with them the dark side of taxation without representation. Their red lightsabers blazed like the very flames of oppression, ready to extinguish the light of liberty forever. The battles were fierce, and the stakes higher than the price of tea in Boston.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. It's Friday. We made it. Thank God. TGIF, TGIF. Nice to see you guys. Do you feel like you made it through the week, like hanging by a thread? I know I certainly did. This was a busy week. But thankfully, I've got my best friend helping me through it all. Ups and downs, lefts and rights, backs and forths, if she's lucky. Stephanie Peterson joining us live on set.
Hello. I remember when I really wanted you to be my best friend. I was like, being a best friend is like the most important thing in a marriage.
It's lucky. Not everybody's got their partner as their best friend. Not always.
No,
yes.
Like a lot of people, they have like, you know, a girl will have like a female best friend, or her mom will be her best friend, and she'll be like, you know, telling them everything and not telling her husband everything. But I like to have you as my best friend.
That's nice. Oh, so very cute, Steffi. We love it.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
I am feeling a little tired, not going to lie.
How is a little, you know...
She's sleeping currently.
Right.
So she's still been sleeping in the mornings. I'm very thankful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm certainly a hustling and homemaking mother.
Yes, you are, and good for you.
I have a pretty full workload during the weeks of my therapy job. I still cook, clean, do all the things. So
does your husband help you with any of that?
You sure do. You sure do. You were cleaning the dishes the other night while I was feeding Hazel, and last night you
washing the bottles.
You were getting Hazel to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, soothing her, comforting her.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we are truly a team.
Yes.
Like I'll say to him, "Hey, while I'm cooking, will you take care of Hazel?" Hey, so it's like we switch off.
Yes. Freedom Family Friday usually means that there's 4 Petersons on the Wake Up America show. We've got 2 that we've introduced, but there is a 3rd in studio right now, isn't there?
There is.
There is. Baby Hazel, who is available for sale.
Available.
For the low, low price of $100.
Oh my goodness.
Although there is something special about today's bonus baby, which we can't reveal just yet.
Oh.
However, the opportunity is there for you in the process of unlocking the typical bonus content on today's show. If you hit the $60 mark for Rumble Rant donations or purchases, then you hit $60 and you get to see today's bonus content, which is really awesome. Mm-hmm. And then the next bit that we have, the next tier is if we hit $100 raised today, they're in sales at forlibertyshop.com, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Yeah. Or if we just hit Rumble Rant donations, we hit $100, then it's bonus baby. And there's a special surprise. Don't say what it is that comes along with the bonus baby today. It's not just a regular bonus baby. It's a cool bonus baby. Yes. So, you know.
So we have a Halloween coupon code. Punkin, Punkin. Mm-hmm. You can get 10% off of anything in our Halloween collection. Hazel actually just got her Halloween costume in the mail from my mom.
She brought it and showed it, but we're going to show it off when it's Halloween.
So she's going to be Rosie the Riveter.
Oh,
I was eyeing that costume online, and I was just like, well, you know, I don't know. We need to save money. I don't know if we should buy it. But then it came in the mail, and we were like, who's this from? And
thank you to Mom.
We found out it's from my mom. So
yes, that's great. So the typical rules applies. Speaking of though Halloween though, Haitian Voodoo. It's the latest conversation topic online. That and our old buddy Laura Loomer, who has had like 5 or 6 mainstream media hit pieces on her this morning because of her associations with Donald Trump.
She's always in the news.
She knows
how to get herself.
She knows how to get that out there. And I know, like I saw or listened to Camellia yesterday was kind of ripping on her a little bit. Right?
Oh, really?
Like her, yeah, because of just jokes that she was making about Indian people and it would smell like curry in the White House because of Kamala Harris, which is...
Laura is Jewish.
Yes.
So she can make fun of other minorities.
Well, that's right. You're right. That's right.
Yeah, a minority can make fun of other minorities.
Well, see, after October 7th...
It's totally okay.
Actually, after October 7th, the Jews lost. The Jews became white. Now you guys are actually the oppressors, according to woke theory.
Yes.
So if you're Jewish now, you're actually sometimes even more privileged than white people. So there's a lot of there's a lot of discussion to be had around that. Just an FYI, I know that some people were curious, but Rumble yesterday faced a global outage. It was a big, massive server problem that they had.
Were you able to stream?
So I was able to stream yesterday, but the chat was not working. It appears like it's not working again today.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So here's what I recommend. If you're not able to hang out with us on Rumble and make comments, I just saw Joni Rankin's comment came through. But I see Sidewalk Closed is over in the X chat this morning. So if you guys want to hang out with us in the X chat, you can. I can see Sidewalk Closed is there, and I'll monitor that this morning.
Why does it work for some people and not others? I saw like Quest Fanning in the chat. Liz.
I couldn't possibly know.
That's so weird.
Know. And we also have people who are going to be listening into the audio later, so we can't talk about it for 20 minutes. But just an FYI that there are some people that are making their way over to x.com/AP for Liberty. And I'll tell you what I'll do to make it easier for you to find the stream. I will pin the stream to the top of the profile page there on AP for Liberty. And another thing that'll make it easier, if you're looking for the chat, you can't find it. If you click on the title underneath the video, that's why it's so hard for people to find how to comment on x.com. You have to click underneath the video. Can you see the screen right now, Stephanie? Watch this, right? So boom, boom, and then see now the comments are on the right. The thing is that the comments disappear.
My phone. So I see the comments.
Yeah, it's a little different. The phone system is a little different. You can't really see the comments on there. If you're on your phone, you're probably better off trying your luck with Rumble or even YouTube. I hate to send people over there, but I don't want to. But FYI, feline flambe, yum, Kermode berry. Yeah, they're eating cats. They're eating dogs. They're eating everything up
cat
here.
Dad in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot of cat fans who watch the show.
So
it's not true. Nobody's really eating cats.
We don't know that it's not. Actually, they are eating cats. They just may not be eating them in Springfield, Ohio. This is one of those situations where it's the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post and all the mainstream media organizations are going to say false. Right?
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're making fun of Donald Trump for being like, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
Right. Here's the thing. They're not taking the reports that citizens are giving seriously, is what they're saying.
Right.
They're saying that until the city official there confirms that a cat has been eaten, then they're not going to take their word for it. That's what the fact check in the debate was about the other night when Donald Trump said that they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, right? And then, it's turned into such a powerful meme, we can't not say it.
Yes.
But we also have to have a conversation. I mean, since it's Halloween time, about Haitian Voodoo, which is the centerpiece of this. I had a conversation yesterday with Ben Baker. You know Ben Baker, right? And you know his whole story.
I do.
Situation.
I've been following his family pretty closely since they lost their daughter and son-in-law in Haiti. It's such a sad story.
We had a really difficult conversation yesterday about this because the situation with Haiti is far more dire than most Americans even know. It is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere.
Wow.
And I did talk to him. I was like, what is the point of sending, our children and missionaries and people in there for people who are cannibal warlords of Haiti, right?
Sure.
And that country, Haiti, is a really interesting experiment in civilization and society, because on the same island that they are on the other half, there's an entirely different nation that is on their border and is it's not a like on par with the United States, first world status.
So when I was like 7, I went on a Royal Caribbean cruise and my family went to Haiti. I swear. So
was it would have been, of course, before, they were cannibalizing each other. But
like we went to the nice part of Haiti that was like all beachy and stuff.
Well, I'm not sure what that would have been, but the Dominican Republic.
Oh, that's what you're referring to.
Is a nation. It's on the same island as Haiti. And yet they do not suffer from the same problems as Haiti, right? So,
I used to have a friend from the Dominican Republic.
There was this, a lot of people won't remember, but there was an earthquake, a terrible earthquake in 2010 that occurred, right? And, there's a lot of history in Haiti, and it's a history of imperialism and of colonization and the French and mishmash of African tribal religions and cultures. The interesting thing about Haitian Voodoo is that, according to National Geographic, in Haiti, Voodoo believers pray and perform animal sacrifices to feed and beckon the spirits. Then they dance until a spirit takes over their bodies, and as it is said, heals them or offers advice.
I mean, animal sacrifices have been going on for a long time, not just in Haiti, but in the Bible as well, right?
It did until the Christians came along and got rid of it. The Jews did that a little bit later.
So the Jews were more into animal sacrifice?
Yeah, for sure.
Like the lamb's blood. I remember that.
Until the New Testament. And then Jesus was considered to be the lamb as the Son of God. He was considered to be the final sacrifice. And so Christians no longer burnt offerings. And it was considered to be something pagan. And now it is, right?
Voodoo is pagan.
Well, not in the most technical of senses, in the senses that most modern Christians, I think, would say. They would just consider it to be demonic.
It's like witchcraft.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes, but what's fascinating about it is listen to the National Geographic's description of Haitian Voodoo. The ceremony begins with a Roman Catholic prayer. Roman Catholic, yes. Then 3 drummers begin to play syncopated rhythms. Oh, sorry, I couldn't help myself. Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, even that's racist too now. Did you know that?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
The left doesn't want us to do the Chiefs and Chopper.
Yeah, I was like, what is that hand movement that you're doing there?
It's the tomahawk chop, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, okay.
How dare you?
I don't follow sports. I have no idea.
Anyways, so the attendees begin to dance around a tree in the center of the yard, moving faster and harder with the rising pulse of the beat. Boom, 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 boom. The priest draws sacred symbols in the dust with cornmeal, and rum is poured on the ground to honor the spirits. Ooh! One woman falls to the ground, convulsing for a moment before she is helped back to her feet. Yes, she resumes the dance, moving differently now, and continues dancing for hours. It is perhaps no longer she who is dancing. She is in a trance, apparently possessed by Erzuli, the great mother spirit.
This seems like those healing things that we watch at those mega churches.
Yeah, with like blood and death and dead cats and crap like that.
Right.
It is an honor to be entered and, quote, ridden by a loa or a spirit. In Haiti, these rituals are commonplace. Voodoo is the dominant religion. Oh, my God.
Oh, so they're evil.
Well,
Ooh.
one common saying is that Haitians are 70% Catholic, 30% Protestant, and 100% Voodoo.
What?
And April
How are you all these other religions?
So this is
what?
So, you know, we're working our way towards this conversation about what's happening in Springfield, Ohio.
Yes.
With 20,000 Haitian immigrants who have been dropped off there by the Harris-Biden administration.
Oh, yes.
And these people are 100% Voodoo, according to a photographer for National Geographic. Now, would National Geographic print a story like this week, for example? No. They would not tell a story like this week. The story is from 2004.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But things have only gotten worse in Haiti. And it has only gotten more religious when it comes to Voodoo.
Oh, really?
Voodoo has spread in the island and become even more prolific.
I mean, the people are getting desperate. They just want healing. So maybe they think that's the quickest way to get it. Bob Corbett, who is the professor emeritus of philosophy at Webster right here in St. Louis, Missouri, not here in St. Louis, but in Missouri, says it is a religion in the same way Judaism or Christianity is. Sure.
Voodoo doesn't.
It's not one of the main religions that we look at.
It's not one of the top three.
Right.
Voodoo doesn't have a sacred text, a church, or a hierarchical structure of leaders, but it is very similar culturally. That's Bob Corbett, who is a professor at Webster, St. Louis, Missouri. Well, I think Bob Corbett is likely full of shit. Especially because there's no way that the National Geographic would interview him, and a lefty professor at a lefty college is going to say something like that to try and play what we call the cultural relativism game. Someone was generally pro-immigration libertarian guy contacted me the other day. He's like, "Why are you going in on these Haitian immigrants? Some of them are working jobs." Sure. I'm like, yes, and some I assume are good people. That doesn't mean that there isn't violence and mayhem and danger, because guess what? The governor of Ohio had to send troops and the guard in yesterday, cover his ass because of the chaos that's happening there in their communities. And as I was telling you last night, there are people that are in desperate need of social services, like veterans and others.
Sure.
And, you know, as libertarians, we may or may not agree with that, but many of them, you might assume, are taxpayers to some extent.
Yeah.
And they're at the back of the line at the social service tent.
Yeah. Veterans
in Springfield, Ohio.
can barely get help.
Yeah, they already can't get help. And then Joe Biden and Kamala Harris take 20,000 people in a town that's, how big is Springfield, Ohio? How big is
I've never heard of Springfield, Ohio. I have no clue.
Population. It's something, think about this.
Why would they choose Springfield, Ohio of all places?
58,000.
Are they like, let's just pick a random little town and
probably
put
because,
Haitian people there?
You know why? Probably because there's been a mild population decline from 1990 until 2020.
So they're like, where are people not having babies? Let's send people from Haiti there and they can start having babies.
Yep. So 58,000 people. So let's just round up and say 60,000 people. They added 20,000 just overnight. Right? Can you imagine like that completely changing the makeup of your town? Oh yeah. In a day. Right.
Imagine the grocery stores, everything. There'd be long lines everywhere.
And the people who did it to you, the people who did this, they don't have to suffer any of the repercussions. They don't live there.
Oh, yeah.
They live in Springfield, Ohio.
Not in my backyard,
Right?
honey.
That's right. The places like Joe Biden's little house in Delaware out in the woods that he lives in and stuff like that, they're not dropping Haitian immigrants a mile away from where Joe Biden lives.
Sure, right.
But this is a pattern that the left has engaged in, and it's not just on an immigration level here in the United States, but it's part of the housing and urban development schemes and the plans of the central planners.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to things like Section 8 housing, for example. The left will not live in a neighborhood next to Section 8 housing, but they will take it and they will plant it next to somebody else's house.
Like our house.
Right.
Yeah. We literally have Section 8, like a couple blocks down.
Yes. So this is all like this discussion, and we're going to talk to Justin a little bit about some of the origins of our darkest fears, as well as many other things. So it's going to get spooky up in here this morning. As we talk about what's really going on in Haiti and what's happening in Springfield, Ohio. These are our fellow American citizens, and it deserves a conversation.
Yeah. Hide your dogs, hide your cats.
Hide your dogs, hide your cats.
That one famous video where they're like, hide your kids. Hide your
dogs, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husbands.
They need that man to come back out and be like, hide your dogs, hide your cats.
Yes, exactly. Hide your dogs, hide your cats. The cats are rising up against the Haitians. The cat memes have been amazing this week, though. At least, have you been? I know you've been busy, but have you at least seen some of the cat memes, Stephanie?
I've seen some of them. I've seen some reels of people making fun of Donald Trump talking about cats.
Yeah, I got the cats up here right now. They're fighting back.
I wonder if Frenchies are at risk. Do the Haitians like Frenchies?
If it's dog, if it's cat, if it's anything, including...
Well, Haitians might actually speak French, so maybe they do like French bulldogs.
Well, so... Stephanie.
Ah oui, le chien. Et le chat.
Le chat.
J'aime manger le chien et le chat.
But don't take our word for it. This American says he spent 19 years in Haiti. Take a listen.
I noticed that some people do believe me and some don't. For the one that don't believe me, later after work I'm gonna share some video with you guys so I can show you guys that I'm not lying. And then there's some information I can't really talk about. If you guys want to know more about that stuff, it would be better for you guys to go to Haiti and find out yourself. And after that, one thing I want to say that I spent 19 years in Haiti. I've been to hell. I've seen a lot. The thing that you guys been seeing on TV, like scary movie, this stuff happened in my country, like real life, you know. I'm okay now. I'm not traumatized anymore, but
love ain't worth your life, I tell you that.
So this is a guy who says voodoo, sacrifices, rituals of cursing people, and more. And this video is 6 minutes long, so we won't be able to get to it. Here he is.
They don't usually say much. When they're witches like that and they practice black magic and they know what they're doing, they don't say too much to you. They don't do too much talking. They just give you a time frame. Or they don't say nothing at all. But for her, I think the woman told her, I give you 3 days. And then the sister was like, despite her being raised up in that culture, she still disregarded the woman, still was rude. And then when the 3 days came, she got sick. She had a fever. And then no medication would bring down the fever. No doctor.
Black magic, cursing one another, like Haitian voodoo. You know what a voodoo doll is, right?
Oh yeah, where you imagine things being done to it, needles or pins going into it.
Yes, to like make it do this. It's like a curse, right?
The sound of drums rent the air just as voices rise. For these voodoo practitioners gathered in a small church in Port-au-Prince, Haiti's capital, it's time to drown out their troubles as they celebrate Saint George, a Christian martyr believed to be a Roman soldier who is revered by Catholics and voodooists alike. They offer him money and prayers in hopes they would make it through Haiti's deepening crisis.
So as gang violence is surging,
each nation, each people have got a name for their land, their history, their culture, and their religion. And we are Haitians, and our culture and our soul is voodoo. Shunned publicly by politicians and intellectuals for centuries, voodoo is transforming into a more powerful and accepted religion across Haiti, where its believers were once persecuted as people seek solace and protection from violent gangs in the country. Today, voodoo is different from what it used to be. It's a clean and pure voodoo, which is philosophy, spirituality, and magic. Voodoo is in education, economy, social life, and politics, even much more. Voodoo was at the roots of the revolution that led Haiti to become the world's first free black republic, born in West Africa and brought across the Atlantic by slaves.
I mean, this is why people are bringing Christianity to Haiti. I can see why missionaries go there.
Yes.
Because they think maybe if we can spread our religion to them, then they can learn morals, they can learn values.
Yes.
And they're going to stop hurting each other.
Exactly.
I mean, Haiti is just basically untouched. You know, it's like a tribe, basically. They don't have much technology, I don't think. So they don't know much about the Western world, I wouldn't imagine.
The situation in Haiti is desperate. It's dire.
Yeah.
I have video of Haitians eating dirt cookies.
And I want to say they don't know any better. I think that's the thing is nobody's teaching them, obviously, and it's not our job. It's not our government's job to teach them these values, but I think they just don't know what to do and they're starting from scratch.
Haiti is a failed state. There's a lot to unpack here. There was a lot of corruption that was funneled through and money that was funneled through the Clinton Foundation because Bill and Hillary Clinton had raised millions and millions of dollars that was allegedly supposed to go to Haiti, but never made it there, made its way into their pockets specifically. And I think the Clinton Foundation actually had to shut down because of the massive amount of corruption and fraud on this one.
Wow.
And so there have been outside powers acting on Haiti for quite some time. And of course, Haiti's history is one of French colonialism. So French colonial Haiti, like the reason they speak French is because of the French colonies that were there. Saint Domingue was a French colony in the western portion of the Caribbean island of Hispaniola in the area of modern-day Haiti from 1697 to 1804. The name derives from the Spanish main city on the island, Santo Domingo. The borders between the two were fluid and changed over time before they were finally solidified in the Dominican War of Independence in 1844. The French established themselves on the western portion of the islands. They had treaties. Spain controlled the eastern portion of the island, and the history went on from there until the French left.
So back during that time when the French and the Spanish were there, I'm sure they were thriving.
Yes.
I'm sure they weren't killing each other and doing all of these barbaric things. No,
the French would kept them under control. Colonialism was they acted as a police force as well.
I'm not saying that's a good thing.
Well,
how can these people get better if nobody teaches them? That would be my question.
It's a great question. It's a nature versus nurture argument. It's like tabula rasa. Right.
Yes, that's what they are.
Blank slate.
Yeah.
I don't know that if I completely believe in tabula rasa or not. I think that it's probably half nature, half nurture.
Oh, of course.
In some sense. And
like Hazel, she knows how to do certain things coming out of the womb. She knew to go for my boob, right?
Right.
To feed.
Yeah. There's
certain instinctual
things that we all do, right? The French officially left Haiti on January 1st of 1804 after the Haitian Revolution. This date marks Haiti's declaration of independence from France, making it the first independent nation in Latin America and the Caribbean, and the first post-colonial black-led republic in the world. The Haitian Revolution was a successful anti-slavery and anti-colonial insurrection led by enslaved Africans and people of color, notably figures like Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines. After years of fighting, the revolution culminated in the defeat of the French forces, and Haiti was declared independent by Dessalines in 1804. And it's been like a downhill spiral ever since.
Thomas Jefferson probably went there because he loved France back during those days. I wonder what he thought of Haiti. I'm sure he said some things about it.
I mean, we're talking about slavery times, you know what I mean?
Right.
The Americans hadn't even gotten rid of slavery in the United States. It took
Thomas Jefferson had slaves. We do know that.
It took us another 55 years of struggle in the United States to get rid of it. After gaining independence, Haiti was forced to pay a massive indemnity to France in exchange for recognition of its independence. Many countries, especially slaveholding nations like the U.S. and European colonial powers, were reluctant to recognize Haiti's independence for fear of encouraging slave revolts in their own territories. So there was a period of economic isolation from the United States to Haiti where they were cut off from international trade and investment. So it was hard for them to build a stable economy because there was no trade, because nobody wanted like the slaves to get too uppity and start revolting in their countries, right?
I mean, I don't blame them, really. I think they just, again, nobody threw them a bone.
Well, in that sense,
they're doing what
yes
they can
and no.
with what they have.
The problem with that argument, though, is that like some cultures, like to a certain extent of isolation, have thrived and done well. Like,
and it's like, how have we become what we've become? Well, we started somewhere, didn't we?
Well,
we formed these values somehow.
A better example might be the Japanese, right?
Yes.
Because they're on an island, right? And they had an isolationist period, for example, but their isolationist period, the Edo period, was a time of art and culture and not barbarism. I mean, there were samurai and there was some barbarism in Japan, but you can't compare the barbarism of the Edo period of Japan to Haiti. There's no like art. Sure. There's no art coming out of Haiti, right? There's no kabuki theater coming out of Haiti, right? There's dirt
cookies, as you were saying.
There's dirt cookies and there's voodoo and there's animal sacrifice in Haiti.
Yes.
Right. So, lack of infrastructure, lack of development, right? The brutal plantation system under French rule had left Haiti's economy entirely dependent on agricultural exports, particularly sugar and coffee. But after its independence, many former slaves resisted returning to the plantation system, leading to fragmented land ownership and subsistence farming. That really limited their economic growth. So after they had been slaves and were farming, they're like, we're not doing that anymore but here's the thing. They saw what their masters were doing, right? In shipping and owning it. Like the claim to ownership of the land was the problem, right? So then they had ownership over the land. Yeah. Like the problem, of course, is that they couldn't hire a samurai to protect their crops, but it wasn't even that. They wouldn't even grow. They wouldn't grow food, right? Have you tried growing food or farming, right? Have you tried, not eating dirt cakes with fat and salt mixed in?
Is it because of the climate that they have? They
have a great climate for sugar and coffee.
Okay, I assumed it was like desert where they can't really grow anything.
No. Haiti's environment has good soil and wood is one of their wood. Unfortunately, is their primary energy source. And then some of the environmental damage that's been done has made agriculture less productive. So they need like some more advanced agricultural techniques that we use here that involve, but again, farming, right? So authoritarian rule, another big problem, right? The Duvalier family regime, Papa Doc and Baby Doc. This is a really interesting story in Haiti's history. From 1957 to 1986, brutal corruption, siphoning off public funds for personal enrichment. Those regimes left weakened institutions, fear, and repression.
Maybe they need reparations,
From the French, if anybody, right? So
yeah.
Natural disasters, of course, earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, right? So they just have had a bevy of problems with Haiti in order to get their civilization on its feet. It just isn't, they're just they're screwed.
Things just kept happening to you over and over and over again. It's like, what would we resort to? Would we just go into a hole?
Well, it's like I asked Ben Baker yesterday. Because his daughter was killed in those riots that has brought them to turmoil. And it's like, do you remember that story about that one Christian kid who was not supposed to go to the uncontacted tribe, and he went and got in a boat. He snuck off this ship, they were just looking at them from afar, but he went and got in a boat because he was going to go witness to them.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
So he wanted to bring them Jesus Christ, and they slaughtered him on the beach.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I remember being a kid in church, and they would they're considered martyrs.
Oh, of course.
For their faith, right?
Yes. And they're willing to do that. I think they're willing to die for their cause.
It's dumb. I don't care. I guess, here's the thing. When you watch the Wake Up America show, I know that this is going to be insulting to a lot of people's deeply held religious beliefs, but I have deeply held other beliefs, okay? And that is that you don't send your children into a situation where they could be brutally murdered and raped and and burned alive by voodoo flesh-eating cannibal gangs, right? Right?
Sure.
You don't let your Christian child go out and spread the gospel to people who are going to murder and rape and destroy. You don't send them to India for the gang rape squads, right? Because it's like they get this halo, this glow in their eyes. Like they're not, it's like, remember the Book of Mormon?
Oh yeah.
And the song I Believe that I played for you.
Oh, I love that song. It's so beautiful.
I believe. And they go into these situations where he's in a warlord, right?
Mhm.
And he's like that God has a plan for all of us.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I believe
The Garden of Eden.
the
is
Garden
in
of
Missouri.
Eden is in Jackson County, Missouri. Like, no, it isn't.
And the planets and all of that.
No, it's not, you know.
Yeah.
It's insulting to, I'm going to insult every person's religion today, but guess what? You know, people like myself, we exist too. And if we have to listen to every other view that is the mystical, supernatural view, if I have to listen to that asshole from St. Louis University, Webster, the philosophy theology professor, telling me that voodoo, Haitian voodoo, is the same as Christianity or Judaism, if I have to listen to that kind of bullshit, you're going to have to listen to my bullshit. And that is that I think that it is a crock, and I think that it is corruption. And I think that we sacrifice needlessly the bodies of our children. We sacrifice needlessly putting, sending these missionaries into harm's way for people who do not appreciate it, who do not grow. Some people will come out and they will take those examples and say, look, this one person is not a cannibal warlord. And congratulations to them. Some I hear are fine people and they get jobs in Springfield, Ohio, and they have an IQ over 110 and they're not eating cats and dogs and all that kind of stuff. But if you're practicing Haitian voodoo witchcraft and you cannot assimilate in American society, you cannot live alongside neighbors and peacefully and respectfully, then I don't care. Call me racist, call me any name in the book, but you have to go back. You have to go back.
And in terms of the missionaries, it's hard to understand other people's purpose in this world, but I think they truly feel they have a purpose. And if in fulfilling their purpose, they're just helping even one person, then they've done enough in their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to put ourselves in other people's shoes, especially the, Christians who go over to Haiti. But it's like they feel in their heart and soul that they're truly helping people, and that is their life's mission. And if they don't fulfill that mission, then their life isn't complete.
And Ben said yesterday very clearly, he's like, their rituals and their religion and their way of life is not compatible with American values.
Correct.
And he was speaking of that, of course, in a Judeo-Christian aspect, but I'm talking about it of like Western liberalism and constitutionalism and free trade and,
unfortunately, what culture it reminds me of?
What's that?
Hamas.
Yeah.
Out in the Middle East.
They're not even Hamas. Here's the thing.
They rape people, they kill people, burn them alive, cut their heads off, all sorts of things, but they don't eat people that I know of.
Exactly. See, and that's the thing is that the sad thing about that is that like these barbarians, it's Hamas is actually more advanced.
Yes, they are.
Than Haitians.
Yeah, I'll admit that.
Right. But the thing is like this is a failed state in our hemisphere. Mm-hmm. Right. It's so you ask yourself, this is not libertarian. Right. But this is the mark of an educated mind, right? To consider a thought without, accepting it. But would they be better off if the United States just restored order and just
if we came in and brought democracy
and restored order and it call me an imperialist, call me a neocon or an interventionist. I'm just considering the thought. But if we really care about, here's the thing. Everybody's like, well, we care about them. Well, let's send aid. Well, let's build their country. Well, let's do all this shit. Like, no, if you care about them, police the streets.
You're giving me Harry Truman vibes. Because he was trying to protect us against communism spreading. And so he took military action in different countries for that reason.
Yeah. So
maybe it would protect us if we did spend some money to help them. I could see where it could be a positive.
To some extent. Sure. Right. It just depends. Here's the thing. After World War II, we rebuilt Japan, but Japan was a civilized society to an extent.
Right.
They were still a cult. The problem with Japanese society is that it was an imperial cult. So it was actually a state religion. So like they had no separation of church and state. The emperor was the god. And so you people who are fanatics and cultists in that sense, and we had to, after World War II, we had to threaten the Japanese with burning down their temples, their most holy of holy spots.
I'm glad they didn't.
I'm glad they didn't either. Well, for sure. I'm glad that they didn't either. But the Americans, in order to ensure that there would be a separation of church and state that would prevent the kind of behavior that would make Japan an almost terrorist nation like it was pre-World War II, is that we had to enforce by force a separation of church and state. In other words, the United States government came in, this is all documented, and during the Reconstruction period of Japan, they threatened to burn down their temples if they did not divest the holy entity of Shinto.
Oh, yeah.
From the government. In other words, the emperor had to come out and say, I am not a god.
Right.
And that once you do that, you break the illusion in people's minds, because what this voodoo has over people's minds, and I think to all religions to an extent, some religions I like better than others, right? I look at religions like I look at cultures. I think some are much more infinitely preferable to the type of values that I hold, which is limited government and freedom and free speech and all that stuff. But when it comes to voodoo, you would have to do in Haiti what we did in Japan, like threaten to burn down every temple that they had. And again, I know I sound like Cannibal the Warlord. Right. I sound like a warlord myself.
It probably wouldn't be too bad. Like most of their stuff is so crappy anyway. They want us to burn it down.
Yeah, because they want the aid that comes with it.
Right.
And here's the thing. There's plenty of it. We would be greeted as liberators.
Yeah, they would be like, thank you. And they'll toss aside their dirt cookies.
Some would.
Take our chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Some would. Right. And
I know others who are so brainwashed.
Yes.
And they think that cannibalism is the way and killing people is the way. And those people would fight us, but they would also die.
You damn right.
Because our military would kill them.
That's right. Because it's like G. Gordon Liddy was the guy who helped Nixon. He broke into Watergate, went to jail. He was kind of a badass, like military guy.
Kind of like a badass move, be quite honest.
G. Gordon Liddy. He had a phrase because I think he fought and killed communists, I believe, during the Cold War.
Well, good for him.
Exactly. So here's what G. Gordon Liddy said. He said, because Ron Paul used to always have a quote. He would say, "No army can stop an idea whose time has come." Remember that quote?
I don't remember it, but it sounds very Ron Paul to me.
It was it was kind of like evocative. I think of like remember the 5th of November. It was like a play on
popular libertarian quote.
Yeah. So no army can stop an idea whose time has come, in reference to our libertarian ideas. But G. Gordon Liddy, because the communists would say things like that too. But G. Gordon Liddy said, "You cannot kill an idea, but." You can kill everyone who holds that idea.
And then the idea is gone because their brains are gone and nobody has the idea anymore. That's very true.
Right?
I don't know. I think the military has a little bit more power.
Cat Dad 21 says, the problem with trying to fix Haiti is that every 4 years we have a potential for a president to change how to fix it. Then we don't leave. It's a good point, but we didn't leave in Japan. We're still there. Yeah. Germany, we're still there, right? So, I mean, post-war denazification is a whole other subject, right?
I know what we need to do.
What?
Okay, Kamala needs to bring the abortion clinics to Haiti. Bring the... she needs to bring the vans, the vasectomy vans, right there to Haiti. Stop the reproduction. And then there will be no future offspring and problem solved. Look at that. There you go. Abortions in Haiti. That's the solution.
So here's the situation, Stephanie. And the situation is a little bit dire.
Yes, I know we're making jokes, but it is serious.
Yeah, no. I mean, our situation. I'm being selfish. Because Rumble is not working so hot this morning.
Oh.
It's going to be harder for us to hit the bonus content goal today, especially the bonus baby. So here's what I'm going to recommend everybody do. Today's the day, and it's Friday, typically payday. So I would recommend everybody head over to forlibertyshop.com and start unlocking that bonus content so that you can see before Justin. It's going to be here in 10 minutes.
Oh my God, it's already time?
Yeah.
We've just been talking like crazy.
Yeah. So if you guys want to see the bonus content, and you definitely want to try and hit the bonus baby mark today, because we have something very special in regards to the bonus baby content. So today is is the day to go crazy over at forlibertyshop.com. Today's the day to go to forlibertyshop.com and buy a box of coffee and a couple of t-shirts. So we can get that bonus content unlocked this morning. You can see the bonus content. And if we hit $100, the bonus baby, there's a special surprise related to the bonus baby content.
Yeah. We've been working on it, putting it together
for you. It's taken a few days, but now today we have it for you. So if you want to see that, here's what I recommend you do. Go to forlibertyshop.com now. Get yourself, throw a couple of boxes of coffee in your cart, grab a t-shirt from our Halloween collection. Use the code PUNKIN, PUNKIN, to save 10% on your Halloween stuff, those purchases. And once we hit that $60 goal point, then you'll see the bonus content. And if we hit $100 by the end of the show, again, bonus baby with a special surprise. I know you guys don't want to miss it.
Yeah. It's worth it. I promise.
Yes. Haitian Voodoo. So how do we, in some sense, that professor from St. Louis was right in that it's a religion like Judaism or Christianity, and that they will fight and die to maintain it. Like they do believe it as intently as.
So, I mean, if you were a Christian, for example, wouldn't you fight and die for your religion?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Like in the Holocaust, the Jews were like, I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm Jew. I'm willing to die because I'm a Jew.
Right. But like separation of church and state to me is like a non-negotiable question. Like to me, that's worth fighting and killing and dying over. So like the French Revolution, for example, got a lot wrong, but divorcing the nation of France from the concept of Louis XIV as the Sun King.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
As a god was worth it. Right. Now they replaced one strongman with another. And some people believed that Napoleon the Emperor was a god. He had a cult.
Yes.
But it wasn't the same as the Sun King. It wasn't the same imperial cult of a state religion.
Well, like in North Korea, we have Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un is a god to Korea. Right. He doesn't pee, he doesn't poop.
Right.
He was born under a magical, rainbow, and like that's the thing is that
and he kills people.
And they kill people, they're murderous, right? So it's all about separation of church and state.
Yeah.
And in the United States, because we have such strong Christian traditions, they say, well, there's no separation of church and state and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, you would believe in a separation of church and state if you lived in Haiti.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. It's just so the same way that you look at Haiti is how we look at your view of what you think should be a non-separation of church and state. Right. And it's not to say that, you should oppress religion. You should have freedom of religion. But the point is that we don't have the government pay for a religion. There's no official religion. Right. The government doesn't affirm nor deny. Right. Or get involved. And I really think that religion and government will be more pure the more they are separate. That's a Thomas Paine bastardization.
Of course. I mean, there's a lot of people here in America that want to bring Christianity back, and have Christianity be the religion of the U.S.
Yeah, they do. And it's always the dumbest people that want to do that kind of stuff, too, because it's like, it's always lowest common denominator topic. Like they can never envision that people maybe don't share their own views. Right. Even like people like that, it's kind of like, OK, well, don't we the president of the United States is already a Catholic?
Yeah.
And like, no, he's not my kind of Catholic. Well, it's kind of like, well, if you guys can't even decide amongst yourselves who's a real Catholic, then what about, how are the rest of us who aren't even Christian, for example, supposed to deal with it? Okay. My brother, Justin Peterson, will weigh in on this and more. We have raised $25 towards the $100 bonus baby goal and $25 towards the $60 goal. So we'll hit the $60 hopefully, because somebody will go to forlibertyshop.com just like our friend did right now and helped us with $25 purchase. So
I'm so excited about my new candy tax collector bag. I just want to say somebody bought it yesterday and that warmed my heart.
Oh, I think it was Cecilia.
It was.
Thank you, Cecilia.
You made my day because I worked hard on that bag.
We do work hard on the shop.
Yes.
So please do spend a little bit of time. I know it seems like, oh, it's just another e-commerce or whatever. It's just another merch shop. It's really not. It's something special that when you look at the products on there, just think about me and Stephanie sitting down with our laptops and pajamas and the baby on our on her knee, like,
Right.
making that thing,
We truly made the Make Halloween Great Again shirt with the Trump pumpkin.
Yes.
You and I both. That was a collaboration.
Our friend Courtney, she just bought a "Don't Tell Me What to Do" sticker for $10. There we go.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's $35 towards the $60 goal. And I think we're definitely going to get there, but keep going. So we've got 5 minutes of commercials. We got to play. We got to go to the bathroom real quick. And then when we get back, Justin Peterson to talk about your darkest fears. It's not just Haitian voodoo. There's the origins of your darkest fears coming up.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs.
Years ago, we started this journey together, bringing you the Wake Up America show every morning. I couldn't have done it without my incredible wife, Steffi, who's always by my side, and now our beautiful baby, Hazel, who's already getting used to studio life, waiting patiently during Freedom Family Fridays. What truly makes this show special is you. Your donations, your purchases from forlibertyshop.com. You're not just supporters, you're family. Together we've built something amazing, and we're just getting started. Thank you for being a part of our family. Here's to many more years of Wake Up America.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at ap4libertyshop.com.
Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening Mental Health Schmental Health. It's the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Happy Friday. We're feeling good. Just went pee for liberty. Feeling good about that.
Now that I'm not pregnant anymore, I don't have to go pee for liberty barely ever.
It's good to hear.
Yes, it feels good.
So here's the situation here. We have 1, 2, 3 Petersons on set and in studio. We've only seen me and the lovely Stephanie Peterson. Beautiful redheaded Stephanie.
Thank you.
But baby Hazel has yet to appear. We have hit about, what was it, $35 or about $40 towards the $60 goal. Another $20 donation or purchase at forlibertyshop.com will unlock the bonus content.
Right. The video that you've created.
The video that I've created, news story that you can watch if you hit the $60 level. Because Rumble rants are kind of broken today, I'm suggesting go shopping. It's Friday. People's getting their paychecks. Blow it all on Austin and Stephanie. Go to forlibertyshop.com. Get yourself a neat t-shirt. I've got that Les Marks More Malay shirt. Today,
that one's nice. I saw that. Somebody got it.
Tony.
Friend, Tony Martinez.
Tony got it. And if you guys want to get one yourself, head over there to forlibertyshop.com. Once we hit another $20, that unlocks the bonus content. But if we hit $100 by the end of the show, it's the bonus baby, and we have like a special surprise.
We do. We have it all set up.
It's all set up, ready to go for the bonus baby. So you guys will definitely want to do that. So head over to forlibertyshop.com. Meow. Get yourself something real nice. But the fourth Peterson, who was not here last week, give him a boo for that. But give him an applause for joining us live now. Justin Peterson, live from Boston, Massachusetts. Good morning, Justin.
Hey, I'm not your private dancer.
I'm your private dancer.
Dancing for money.
Justin, what do you know about voodoo?
Well, so the only thing I know about voodoo is obviously what I saw in cartoons growing up, like on Scooby-Doo, growing up as a kid.
Right.
Dun, 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 dun. Ooh. Dun, 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 looking for you.
Scooby-Doo, where are you? Port-au-Prince and Scooby-Doo. The Haitians really are trying to kill Scooby-Doo so they can eat him,
Haitians were part of Scooby-Doo. I guess I...
No, it's not.
Really
it's voodoo.
Voodoo. No, I think when you say voodoo to me, I always just think of New Orleans, right? I think of New Orleans, but
Same.
It's also because of that culture. And the New Orleans voodoo is kind of cool, because it's like, like voodoo woman, like the stories of like Marie, what was her name? She was famous down in Laveau. Marie Laveau, was that her name? Like this famous voodoo princess or voodoo queen or whatever down in New Orleans.
I don't know.
Really,
was that Black Disney movie that they did with the girl, the princess and the frog?
No.
It wasn't. There wasn't a voodoo character in that one. I don't know.
No.
Dia de los Muertos. That reminds me of voodoo. That's Mexican. But I know it's not.
It's not voodoo. Voodoo is like they do animal sacrifices. They plant curses on one another. They practice witchcraft. Right. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats, as Donald Trump might say. But we're racist for pointing it out, Justin. I mean, I saw a video somebody sent me yesterday of a back alley of Haiti and the guy's twisting the cat's head off. Ugh. And then I see another one of a guy who's just casually roasting a cat. But the ones who are eating the cat are the lucky ones, because many of them are lucky to have that, because they're eating dirt pies mixed with a little bit of animal fat and salt to flavor it. Bon terre, they call them. And we're supposed to play the cultural relativism game, Justin, because a professor at St. Louis Webster University says that voodoo is just the same, a religion, just like Christianity and just like Judaism. But I feel like he might be, I don't know, at least partially full of shit.
Well, I mean, I think about the idea of coexisting in a liberal society, right? And the idea that if you leave each other alone, I mean, that's kind of like the whole system of the governance we have. It's like, as long as you're not hurting anybody, I mean, I don't care what people do, in their religion, but I mean, animals are kind of like, I mean, we have really stringent laws about animal experimentation in our country, don't we? I mean, don't
Yeah,
we have
yeah, unless you're Anthony Fauci, and then you can slice the throat.
Right.
And you can slice the throat of beagles to stop them from howling because of the experiments that you do on them.
Oh my God.
So Haitian immigrants and Anthony Fauci get a pass. The rest of us aren't allowed to go into any public parks, Justin, and just slaughter a goose and take it out. And I get that was in Canton, Ohio, not in Springfield, Ohio, but like we're supposed to be gaslit and we're supposed to believe that there's no problem whatsoever with a town of 60,000 people suddenly having 20,000, increasing by 20,000 of people who are just dropped off there by people like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and everybody just has to fend for themselves. And now they're crashing into buildings, and they may or may not be eating pets. Your take?
No, I just think that this is one of the reasons why I try to limit my intake of news, because it makes me insane. Because, you know, the thing that I have done in looking at what people have to say is I try to see both sides. And it's amazing that like one side is saying one thing and another side is saying another thing. And it's just like you couldn't, if you wanted to find the truth, you just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like you just couldn't get to it. I mean, and like you were saying about earlier, this is what I hate about identity politics, because what it does is it infers an immutable characteristic as being the way to win an argument about something, right? It's like you don't win the argument based on an immutable characteristic. You win the argument on the face of the argument. You make a good argument, you say, okay, you win. But you don't get to say, well, I'm right because of X, Y, or Z particular characteristic that I happen to have. That's not been true for millennia in terms of argumentation and logic. We've always been able to argue things on their face and not say, oh, well, because I hold a secret identity card, see, I get to play this identity card, and now I'm right because of my identity card.
Well, we were talking, Stephanie and I, earlier, I don't know if you were hearing us, about tabula rasa, the blank slate concept and the theory. And I was talking to my friend Ben Baker yesterday. His daughter was murdered in Haiti alongside her husband, and it was a whole international incident to get their bodies back here to the United States. They were Christian missionaries sent into the situation, and I just, Justin, you and I, we were raised in the church, First Baptist Church of Raymore, Missouri, and we were taught about Lottie Moon and the missionaries of China. And you hear all the wonderful news and the stories, but then like every once in a while, somebody will let slip, that somebody went to the Congo and got put in a soup, by cannibals, right? Cannibal warlords. And, I've seen the Vice documentary I showed to Stephanie, I think, The Cannibal Warlords of Liberia.
Oh, that was a good one.
But Haiti is a failed state. It's like, how much should we really, should we be sending Lottie Moons and sending our youngest and best and brightest into these, so maybe not the brightest, into these scenarios to go and to do these missions? And they love martyrs, Justin, and God bless a martyr. Everybody knows that a martyr really makes a religion. Without martyrs, you don't have a religion, right? But I don't particularly find there to be something necessarily all that intelligent about sacrificing yourself. I mean, otherwise you could say that, okay, well then the Sakura bombs that Stephanie and I saw at the Japanese Imperial War Museum, for example, those kamikazes, they were just part of the imperial cult. They were doing it for their emperor. They were sacrificing themselves, slaughtering Americans in the service of their religion and their faith. And who are we to question, yada, yada, yada. Do you believe in blank slate theory? Is Haiti salvageable? Is it worth fixing? Should we be sending children in there to do missionary work with the possibility of occurring of what's happening? I mean, everybody gets to make their own decisions in this world, but is it wise in your opinion?
Well, I mean, so like you were talking about that guy who showed up on the beach, and I think he immediately got killed. Not funny, but also kind of funny.
Yes.
Some of the people that do these missionary things, some of them, not all, some of them are not sponsored by any sort of religious sort of groups. So they just kind of take it upon themselves to go because they just feel a calling, right? They're like, well, I have a calling to go to, wherever. So they're not prepped in many cases by safety, considerations from maybe a larger organization or body. They just kind of go and show up and be like, I'm going to do good things here, which is in a kind of a way, a form of what we call white saviorism, right? It's like, I'm going to come in and be a white savior to all of you people. I think about colonialism. I mean, we know that term gets bandied around a lot, right? That we're using that term a lot. And too much in my opinion, because I mean, now we're like, well, we have to get rid of the music because it's white colonialist music, you know, which is Mozart or Bach. Or
And Haiti's been independent since the early 1800s. They abolished slavery before the
only
U.S.
successful slave uprising, by the way. That was the only one. And what was interesting about that slave uprising was that that's what scared the southern plantation owners. That story of Haiti, because they went and they murdered the owners, their children. They murdered it. I mean, they came in and just uproot. You know, it was a revolution, and terrified the South in you know, during the pre-Civil War time, and sort of got eclipsed by the French Revolution because that was going on around the same time as well. So yeah, terrified the Southerners. They were like, "Oh my gosh!" You know.
Could this be a generational trauma issue where, you know, the people in Haiti today are still suffering from the trauma that their slave ancestors experienced?
If so, then you're not really believing in tabula rasa to some extent. You're kind of suggesting that like demographics is destiny. You're sort of saying that like these people who
culture component.
Yeah. So in that sense, it negates tabula rasa.
Right.
So it would then you'd then be saying that these people are the victims of their circumstances and they don't know any better, and it's very paternalistic because you're essentially saying that they really are incapable of self-governance. I mean, that's kind of what I was asking Ben yesterday. I'm like, are these people, like, we believe in this the Constitution and individual rights and all this stuff, but I mean, these people clearly cannot self-govern. So doesn't this sort of like strike at the heart of some of our philosophy to a certain extent of like, you know, like Stephanie were talking about earlier, right? Like, would they be better off if they were under colonialism? I'll tell you one country that absolutely would be better off if they still had their imperial guards. India. India would be far more advanced and more technologically complex. You'd be getting a lot fewer spam calls out of India. I'll tell you that much.
See, I don't look at India as an unsafe place because I have so many friends who are from India.
Yeah, well, okay, well, you would be raped by gangs.
Maybe they're from the good parts of India because there's a caste system. So my friends were of a higher caste. Yeah, well, obviously, they weren't from the down low.
I had lots of friends from India as well, from back in Washington D.C. And they were conservative friends. They would tell you that a pretty little white Jewish girl like yourself should not go wandering around the streets of Delhi alone at night.
Sure.
It is not a dangerous place, and you know we're fighting this fight, Justin, overall about this concept of cultural relativism. And this is like kind of this debate that I've been having with people like Dave Smith and Clint Russell and others, and people who call me the racist and neocon and all this kind of shit.
You hate the children.
You want to bomb the babies and all this kind of shit. And it's like cultures are not the same. Cultures are not equal. Some cultures are superior to others. Some cultures and civilizations have faded away. The Mayans and the Aztecs are gone. That's probably a good thing, right? If you've never heard of the Zompantli, when they unearthed these massive skull towers that they built because their religion told them to do, they had no separation of church and state in the Mayan or the Aztec religion. You got sacrificed to the gods in order to get some rain, and if there was a drought, they sacrificed more and more.
Colonialism put an end to that.
And colonialism, Christianity. Oh no, here comes the far right nationalist Christians. Well, no, they're going to stop this human sacrifices.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what I want to say about this. The problem with more sort of a cultural relativism or even a moral relativism is that on its face, what it does is it basically says you can't judge reality. It says you can't make determinations about objective reality because what you think is true is not really true. And that to me is so. I've
had these discussions before with you, Austin.
It is so. Then it's chaos because it's like, well, your idea and my idea aren't good, and well, that's just your idea. This is one of the reasons why we have the problems we're in today, because we can't have conversations about what is an objective good thing, what is objectively good and bad. Human flourishing is a good thing. Human success and human comfort. Like this past week I did a conversation about the world before the Great Enrichment of the 1800s, right, where global wealth just exploded. And you have to remember, people had no money. Like, they had nothing. They might have had one pair of clothes, right? People today like you said this before, but the poorest person in the United States today is living better than J.D. Rockefeller lived in the 1900s and 1910s and 20s. Like, that's staggering in terms of wealth, and that's not what's going on in Haiti. You know what I mean? Do they? I don't. It's not good. So I mean, certain cultures do lead to, I think, more flourishing than others. I mean, look at things like, well, I look about Sparta, right? I remember this from middle school. We studied Sparta, right? Sparta left nothing behind culturally. They left nothing behind because their whole priority was war. That was the whole focus of their whole culture, was war, make war, make war, make war. There's nothing, and the only reason we know about Sparta is from other cultures talking about Sparta, because Sparta didn't leave anything behind. There was nothing of their culture left. I mean, not a vase, not a painting, nothing. I mean, that is, that's how cultures come and go. Cultures rise and fall. And I think what makes a culture great is obviously human flourishing, good quality standard of living, healthy people that have a long life expectancy, music, art, culture, theater. Those things are that's what survives of a culture.
Yeah, I mean, I've really struggled with this. It's a philosophical question of, is there an ultimate truth in terms of if one culture or religion is better than another? And so sometimes I do say, who am I to say what's right? Who am I to say what's better? It's just
but I think
different.
That's the problem, because your ability is saying that you can't get to truth.
Right. And that's what I struggle with. I don't know. I don't know the truth. And I feel like the truth is out there, but I'm not sure if we as humans will ever know the truth.
Right. But it's something to strive for, not to just sort of throw our hands up in the air and say, well, we don't know, so we're just not going to try. We're just going to sort of give up. I mean, that's what got us the Dark Ages. That's what got us the Dark Ages. I mean, so I'm always...
But for one of the things we were talking about earlier, Justin, in this concept of cultural relativism, is the successful experiment of nation building that the United States engaged in after World War II in Germany and Japan versus our unsuccessful nation building projects in Iraq and Afghanistan. And we were talking about this in the concept of Haiti. Why don't we just kick the door down and give them democracy and police their streets and stuff? Well, it's because they're barbarians. It's because they would fight you tooth and nail in the streets to protect their voodoo, like Hamas would protect their radical Wahhabist version of Islam. And therefore, you cannot successfully rebuild a nation like that from an outside perspective. It just has to happen from the ground up. But in that sense, I mean, on one level, we're essentially saying, you know what? Goodbye, screw you. Like, the Clinton Foundation didn't do a damn thing for them, right? Like, sending food in from some charities may be a good idea, but at the end of the day, if their civilization continues to deteriorate and stays as it is, wouldn't it be better if they just disappeared or went away?
Well, I mean,
that's a good point.
That's kind of
Darwinian? Yeah.
Yeah, Darwinian. Yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
When you said send food in, I think sending food in would actually be a good idea, because you know what food does? It helps our brains grow. And so this is making me think that the Haitians, they're eating mud cookies. They don't have good nutrition. Their brains are not growing and developing as ours are, because we have good food. We have meat, veggies.
You're right. You're right.
So maybe it is food and nutrition that they need in order to succeed and grow as
definitely
humans.
Part of it. It's definitely part of it.
Well,
like Go ahead, Jess.
I was going to say that I just found out recently, within the past month, a lot of the Pakistani people are inbred.
Oh, that too.
One of the things that happens in that particular kind of a biological circumstance is that there's a heightened aggression in the brain.
Wow.
It creates a heightened sense of aggression. And I'm like, wow, that's... So, I mean, even that alone, I mean, there's a cultural thing. It's like, well, that's just their culture. I'm like, but what is the downstream effect of that culture on human flourishing?
There you go.
So, and then and then the next question, of course, leads us to the, circle back around to where this really all originates, is taking 20,000 Haitian migrants, voodoo practitioners who have not had time to have their brains grow from rice and grains and food and things like that, causing chaos and division. I mean, Justin, what's the solution to this? right? What's the problem is now here, unfortunately, we have to solve the problem that was created by the policies of Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. But is Donald Trump's solution the right solution? Round them all up and send them back to Haiti?
I mean, this is where I feel like, okay, where's the nuance? Because it's like you said something really great earlier today, which was that, the people who make these decisions don't have to live with these decisions, right?
Yes.
Like, do you remember, was it earlier this year where they sent all of these buses of migrants to the Hamptons? No, it wasn't the Hamptons.
Yes.
What was it? Martha's Vineyard?
Martha's Vineyard, yes. So that was Ron DeSantis.
Being able to go to Martha's Vineyard, it's too fancy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the rich people sent them out.
Fast enough.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
They couldn't wait to get him out fast enough. They're like, oh no, not in my.
We don't have the resources to help them. They're the richest people, some of them in the world.
My house is too
not
small.
In my coffee
I can't
bar.
fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The guest bedroom on the behind the mansion. They can't fit 10 Haitians behind there.
This is always my thing about policies. It's like people make these stupid policies that they don't have to live with or live under, and but I mean, how much would that cost? I mean, you think about taxpayer costs. It's like, how much would that? Okay, take Donald Trump's plan. How much is that going to cost the American taxpayer to round up all those people and get them back? Like.
Well, I'm thinking of it.
Worth every dime if they don't eat our pets. You know what I mean?
Don't eat Fido.
Money well spent if they don't eat our dogs.
Thinking of it in a Harry Truman type of fashion. Does Haiti pose a military risk to us? Would they ever attack us, try to invade us, cause issues? I don't think so. They don't have the technology.
Military, no.
Okay. So if they're not a threat, and I would probably deport the people. Yes, I would. As a libertarian. And if they're not threatening us, if we don't need to defend ourselves against them, let them be.
They carry disease, and so
if they're traveling here and bringing diseases, yes, that is a problem.
So the HIV rates in Springfield, Ohio, have skyrocketed.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, and other diseases as well that they're not properly immunized for.
So I guess we only need to solve the problems that are causing us problems. That's how I feel.
Yes. So disease prevention, immunization, things like that. But that's the thing, is that they're not going through any kind of a proper vetting process before they just take 20,000 people and just dump them off in a town, and it spreads disease, and it spreads voodoo, and it spreads danger and violence, and people get pissed off, rightfully so, right, for having to deal with this in their communities. And then the police, I'm sure, really hate it.
Well, it's a global thing that's going on, Austin, because if you look what's going on in the UK, it's just these, this mass immigration to more liberal-minded societies, and then not being able to sort of assimilate. If you're not going to assimilate, I mean, like when your last name and my last name is a product of assimilation, because our great grandfather said, you know what, I'm not going to call myself a Peterson, I'm going to call myself a Peterson. So I mean, even our name was like Americanized, because our great grandfather was like, we're going to fit in.
We're going to be Americans.
We're going to be Americans. So
our
name
Peterson. We should change it back.
No, P-E-D-E-R-S-E-n.
Yeah.
Is there an umlaut in there? I'm not sure, but
no, there's no umlauts in Danish, I don't think.
Umlaut, yeah. No umlauts. Justin.
But there's a desire to too many. I think it's too many.
Assimilate.
Assimilation. And when you don't give people time, and you do it too fast, when you do migration like this too fast, people can't assimilate that fast. Like, that's why you have to slow the roll down.
Joni Rankin says maybe a GoFundMe page for deportation.
Yes.
We can have a bake sale. We'll have a bake sale.
And sell dirt cookies. There you go.
Sell dirt cookies for Haiti. Stephanie, no.
That'll be my next hustling and homemaking video. We'll make dirt cookies.
Oreos. We'll give them real Oreo cookies instead of dirt. That's hilarious. It's so sad.
Like racial connotation of an Oreo.
There is.
My goodness.
First of all, Greta Thunberg. How dare you? Second of all, I've got some great news, guys. And the good news is that we have unlocked all of the bonus content, including the bonus baby. Yes.
Yay. That money.
It wasn't a donation. It went to forlibertyshop.com.
Oh my God. What did they buy?
Andy Opperman, he got a smoking George coin necklace.
To you?
Yeah.
You really got the Ronald Reagan Buddha, didn't you, Andy?
Yes, he did.
That
He
just
did. Yes, and he also picked up a shirt. I think it's maybe one of our Halloween shirts. Let's check it out. Yes.
no way.
Yeah, government scary tee. Yes.
And
Yeah. I've got one too.
You know
Thank
what's
you,
funny?
Andy.
Everyone's been talking about this like plan. This is the new meme of the day. Everyone's like, the plan. Someone's got a plan.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I don't want the government to have any kind of plan for me. Thank you very much.
Right.
Like, don't want a plan.
Yeah.
I don't need a plan. Let me just live my life and leave me alone.
I mean, that is like the centerpiece of my economic and social beliefs, is that central planning is evil and wrong.
It is.
And that I don't want Kamala Harris to have a plan for my life. Like,
No.
she's complaining Donald Trump has no plan. His plan is Project 2025, but that's not his plan, so he has no plan, right? So he has no plan for your life. I'm like, thank God.
I don't
I'm
want
glad.
a plan.
I'm glad. I don't want Donald Trump micromanaging my life, and I sure as hell don't want that bitch micromanaging my life either.
I just
Well,
want to say, go on.
Go ahead, please. No.
I just want to say I didn't comment after the debate because obviously it's Friday, so it's several days away. But
Go ahead.
I think Kamala's going to win. I'm sorry, but I think she is. I think on debate night, she talked to the people in such a way that they believe her.
Yeah, they're retarded. They're stupid. I've got a video of them, actually, of a Kamala
She
stupid
really
voter.
painted Donald Trump in this as this crazy old man, and people are buying into it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. Justin, we're going to take a brief little break to play the bonus content, okay? And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the origins of some of our darkest fears.
And bonus baby?
Bonus baby too, as well. We've got lots of exciting and fun stuff to go when we come back. And first of all, real quick, here's that video that I was talking about, 40 seconds long.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala.
Trump
How
or
come?
Kamala?
Because she's brat.
What does that mean?
Because
Google
she's
it.
brat.
No, but you're right here. I'm asking you.
A brat is a girl who's a little bit messy. She likes to party.
So only because she's a woman, basically, or what?
I think she has actually really good policies. I think Kamala would actually make this country a better place, whereas I think Trump would make a lot of people sad. Have you seen his 2024 agenda thing?
2024 agenda?
Yeah, he came out with a...
You mean Project
Project
2025?
2024.
Yeah, he said he doesn't associate with that at all.
He does associate with Agenda 47.
Yes, exactly. No, they're very different.
Well, actually, if you're going to be debating us about politics...
I'm not debating. I'm just getting your thoughts. Trump or Kamala?
Oh, bro. They're so stupid. They're voting for Kamala because she's a woman. That's all it is.
Brat?
A brat. She's brat.
Before.
Yeah, democracy. Yeah, Justin, democracy is great. We're going to play the bonus content. Now it's time for everyone to go pee for liberty. We'll be right back on the For Liberty Network's Wake Up America show.
Unlocking the Wake Up America show's bonus content. Your financial support of the show helps us to grow and prosper. Today's story, DIY guns bring libertarianism to the world, says the New York Times. Innovation and defiance hobble government efforts at control. Illegal home-built guns are bringing libertarianism to the world. That's what the good people at the New York Times say. DIY firearms are also helping rebels fight oppressive regimes, and, as is inevitable when weapons make their way into the hands of regular people, fueling European officials' fears of crime and terrorism. This is a result of recent technological developments that severely cramp government's ability to enforce restrictions, including when it comes to the FGC-9, a partially 3D printed firearm. The Rattler is a weekly newsletter from JD to Seal. If you care about government overreach and tangible threats to everyday liberty, this is for you. Libertarianism with a bang. This American brand of libertarianism has historically been a tough sell in many other parts of the world. Even if some people believed it in theory, strict laws made buying a gun so difficult that the ideology was almost beside the point, wrote Lizzie Dearden and Thomas Gibbons Neff in the Times. The FGC-9 is changing that. By libertarianism, Dearden and Gibbons Neff mean the familiar to reason readers, belief that people have the right to freely live their lives whether governments like it or not. The philosophy is on display at the website of Deterrence Dispensed, a loose online community of those interested in designing and building homemade firearms and ammunition. All individuals are entitled to the utility to defend their humanity, the group boasts. Gun control has failed. You can't stop the signal. There's no greater evidence of exactly that than the popularity of the FGC-9, the full name of which is the Fuck Gun Control 9. This model of homemade semi-automatic firearm, known as an FGC-9, has appeared in the hands of paramilitaries in Northern Ireland, rebels in Myanmar, and neo-Nazis in Spain. Note Dearden and Gibbons Neff. In October, a British teenager will be sentenced for building an FGC-9 in one of the latest terrorism cases to involve the weapon. DIY weapons have a long history. Craft-made firearms aren't new. Gunmakers in Pakistan, the Philippines, and elsewhere have produced effective arms in conditions that are often surprisingly crude. Wherever people seek to acquire goods, firearms included, savvy entrepreneurs find ways to satisfy that demand, within or outside the law. But developments in computer numerical control, CNC technology, and 3D printing have made small-scale manufacturing easier and more accessible. That's great for people who need to make replacement parts for machinery on site, and for those seeking to evade prohibitions. The liberating potential of 3D printing first entered public awareness in 2013, with Cody Wilson's unveiling of the single-shot Liberator pistol. In 2018, a Rand Corporation report warned that with 3D printing, point of sale, consumption will no longer be an opportunity for governmental control of risky goods, such as firearms and drones. That was about the time that Jacob Duigu, a former German soldier known online as J. Stark, designed the original FGC-9. It's a hybrid project, combining 3D printed parts with components available off the shelf from hardware stores to build a semi-automatic 9mm carbine. Under his pseudonym, Duigu and his creation were featured in the documentary Plastic Defense: Secret 3D Printed Guns in Europe. Duigu died under mysterious circumstances in 2021 after being questioned by German police. But his design was refined and updated by Ivan the Troll, whom the Times identifies as John Ellick, a licensed Illinois firearms manufacturer. Plans for the FCG-9 MKY are available here. Licensed as he is, his activities don't violate even the draconian laws of his unfortunate state. I unsuccessfully reached out to Ivan Ellick for comment, but he may be a tad media shy after having his identity splashed across the world by a major newspaper. The original FGC-9 and the revised version have found immense popularity around the globe, arming the world. While countless 3D printed guns have been designed and circulated on the internet, international law enforcement officials say that the FGC-9 is by far the most common, add Dearden and Gibbons Neff. The Times reporters talk a lot about far-right extremists, militias, terrorists, and criminals arming themselves with DIY guns, and it's understandable that goods severely restricted by law would disproportionately make it into the hands of people who are particularly unimpressed by laws. They concede, though, that no law enforcement official has yet linked an FGC-9 to a homicide. The liberating potential of a firearm that's relatively easy to build in a small shop is apparent from the rebel who is fighting Myanmar's oppressive government and tells the Times that a lot of people use them in reference to FGC-9s. The source adds that the DIY guns are mostly selected for personal defense, since they don't stand up well in the jungle to combat conditions. That, of course, is the whole purpose of the DIY weapons movement, ensuring that people have the means to defend themselves against those who might do them harm. People have the right to that means, say its proponents, whether those who prey on them are freelance criminals or governments. It's not just a gun, it is also an ideology, a Swedish intelligence officer told the Times. An existential threat to gun control. In fact, the movement that developed the FGC-9, the Liberator in 2013, and handcrafted weapons before that is much more than its output. It's an effort, originally disorganized but increasingly coordinated, to bypass prohibitions and render attempts to disarm the public irrelevant. It's effective. Globally, privately made firearms still represent a small percentage of illicit firearms, but that is changing quickly in some regions, according to a 2023 paper from Switzerland's Small Arms Survey. If production technologies continue to improve and proliferate, privately made firearms will increasingly erode the effectiveness of export controls and other key elements of national and international small arms control regimes, and may eventually pose an existential threat to these regimes. Officials and hand-wringers fret that terrorists, extremists, and criminals will end up armed, but they've never seemed to have a problem acquiring what they want in the past. Besides, in a world in which governments have vast armories, keeping weapons out of the hands of bad people is obviously a lost cause. Ensuring that people are free despite the best efforts of rulers is an ideological movement when it comes to guns or anything else. Through innovation and defiance, libertarianism is getting a boost around the world.
Years ago, we started this journey together, bringing you the Wake Up America show every morning. I couldn't have done it without my incredible wife, Steffi, who's always by my side, and now our beautiful baby, Hazel, who's already getting used to studio life, waiting patiently during Freedom Family Fridays. What truly makes this show special is you. Your donations, your purchases from forlibertyshop.com. You're not just supporters, you're family. Together we've built something amazing, and we're just getting started. Thank you for being a part of our family. Here's to many more years of Wake Up America.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks, just pure patriotic pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at ap4libertyshop.com. Not so far away, but a couple of centuries ago, a great struggle unfolded. A time of turmoil where the force of freedom clashed against the oppressive grip of tyranny. This is the story of the Founding Fathers, the brave Jedi of the colonies, who dared to defy the dark side of the Redcoat Sith. Master George Washington, leader of the colonial Jedi, was no ordinary soldier. With a flintlock blaster in one hand, capable of delivering precise shots with the power of 1,000 musket balls, and a lightsaber forged from the ancient Liberty crystals, Washington was the beacon of hope in the darkness that covered the 13 colonies. And then there was Benjamin Franklin, the Yoda of the Revolution. Wise, cunning, and always a few steps ahead, Franklin's mind was sharper than his lightsaber, which he personally modified to discharge bolts of lightning, perfect for frying any Redcoat Sith foolish enough to cross his path. But the colonial Jedi were not without opposition. The Redcoat Sith, led by the Dark Lord Cornwallis, had crossed the Atlantic, bringing with them the dark side of taxation without representation. Their red lightsabers blazed like the very flames of oppression, ready to extinguish the light of liberty forever. The battles were fierce, and the stakes higher than the price of tea in Boston Harbor. At Bunker Hill, the colonial Jedi held their ground, their flintlock blasters firing energy bolts that could punch through the toughest redcoat armor. With each pull of the trigger, a burst of light and smoke, a fusion of the old and the new. And who could forget Thomas Jefferson, the Jedi Knight who penned the Declaration of Independence with one hand while wielding his lightsaber with the other? It was he who gave voice to the rebellion, declaring that all men are created equal, with the inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Or, in this case, the right to take down a few Sith Lords. The final battle came at Yorktown, where the forces of light and dark met in a cataclysmic struggle. Washington and Cornwallis, Jedi and Sith, fought with the full might of the Force behind them. Flintlock blasters cracked through the air like thunder, while lightsabers sliced through the gloom, each swing a testament to the fight for freedom. And when the dust settled, it was the colonial Jedi who stood victorious. Cornwallis defeated, surrendered, and the force of liberty triumphed over tyranny. The Sith were driven back across the sea, and a new hope was born, a republic where the force of freedom would reign supreme. But the story does not end there. Knowing that the dark side could rise again, the Founding Fathers, in their final moments, channeled all their power, their wisdom, and their hope for the future into one single powerful crystal, a crystal of liberty. They knew that one day the force of liberty would need a new champion, someone worthy to wield this ancient power and restore balance when the force of freedom was once again threatened. For generations, the crystal lay hidden, its power waiting for the right moment, the right person to awaken it. And then, one fateful day, it was discovered by a man named Austin Peterson, a libertarian, a modern-day freedom fighter who would fulfill the destiny set in motion centuries before. The crystal called to him, and with it, Austin took up the mantle of the colonial Jedi, determined to bring balance back to the force of liberty in the United States. Through his show, the Wake Up America show, Austin Peterson became the voice of resistance, the spark of rebellion against the creeping darkness of tyranny. With the power of the Founding Fathers' crystal, he fights not with lightsabers or blasters, but with the force of truth, reason, and unwavering dedication to the principles of liberty. So remember, young Padawan, the fight for freedom is never easy, but with courage, unity, and a little bit of force on your side, even the darkest...
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. That's your bonus baby right there. Sorry for the delay. The bonus baby cam was not working. Stephanie's in the house. How you doing, Steffi?
So bad for you. You do all you can during these breaks to make things work.
This show is a lot of work, man. This show is a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun too, because my brother Justin Peterson joins us live from Boston. Hey, JP.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
We made it.
We made it.
Looks like we made it.
And Justin, baby Hazel Rose is looking beautiful. I've got a baby cam set up. The GoPro was giving me problems during the break there. It's like dying, so it might not last for the rest of the show. But for everybody who's watching right now, they can see a beautiful little angelic baby set up. Very cute.
She's still resting peacefully.
Thank God.
She was opening her eyes while you were fixing the camera. I was like, ah.
I'm happy that Andy Opperman helped us to unlock that bonus content, the bonus baby. So everybody say thank you to Andy Opperman and his...
He is our savior.
He is.
He really has helped us so much. He gave us butter chicken when we first had Hazel.
That was awesome.
Amazing.
That's very awesome, and we're grateful for his generosity and support. And now, because of the bonus baby unlock, you've got the bonus baby cam for at least 3% battery, and it's plugged in, but I don't know if it'll work in here. So there you go. So, Justin, thanks for sticking around with us.
Hey, no worries.
We were talking about voodoo and Haiti, and I was going to spin that off in a conversation about like Halloween and all that kind of stuff, and that is all coming up. But like the origins of our darkest fears, I have this list here on the BuzzFeed, like black cats and all this kind of stuff. A lot of people are familiar with, right? But like fear is a very powerful motivator. It is a very powerful. He's laughing because Justin knows what I'm talking about here. But fear is something that can either make you behave rationally, or it can make you behave very irrationally. You can behave, there's a natural response to fears that are founded, right? Like, and there's a lot of evolutionary basis for this, right? Being in the bush and a tiger, hearing the grass rush by, right? Like you were better guessing that everything was a threat rather than nothing was a threat.
That's me.
So
I think everything's a threat.
Right. So these are called type 1 and type 2 errors. And the people who made type 1 errors is most people. Those are the people who tended to survive. People who were not skeptical, they did not think twice, but that when potential danger, real or not, reared its ugly head, they flight, they quail, they get spooked, and they run. Then there's a type 2 error, which is a type of mistake that someone will make if, for example, they think that the rustling of the grass is just the wind rather than a tiger. Fewer people who made type 2 errors made it this far in the evolution. It was more evolutionarily advantageous to be afraid of everything for the simple fact that anything could be a threat than a type 2 error person who might think 80% of the time it's not a tiger, but 20% of the time it might be. So I'm not going to freak out or quail or, man the ramparts or get the gun every time, right? For the boy who cries wolf, the wind in the willows, what have you.
And that's why people are so negative in our society today. Negativity is addicting. It really actually gets the reward center of your brain very active when you're thinking negatively. Whereas positive stuff, it doesn't activate your brain as much because, again, in terms of survival, negative things, you have to pay attention to those because they help you survive. Whereas positive things, you're like, okay, what do I have to do with that? Nothing.
Well, the other thing too is this, I think, and maybe I'm going to repeat what you're saying. It's a state of arousal.
Yeah.
You are aroused. It's just in a different way. You're not libidinally aroused. But you are aroused. You are the same activation is occurring in your body.
Yeah, that's right. Thing.
It's very arousing to be angry.
It is, and to be angry and to be afraid. Yeah, it's why we go. It's why we, Stephanie and Jody and I and Mario went to the Halloween haunt at Worlds of Fun, and I
think you were there. Justin was there too.
I don't. Yeah. Well, he didn't go in, but maybe he was, or maybe he wasn't. Yeah. Justin wouldn't go in.
Oh, you don't go in.
Stephanie, no, he won't go into haunted houses. Stephanie,
I mean, I do sometimes. It's roller coasters I don't like. That's my thing.
Fear is a motivator. Yes. Stephanie went into the haunted house, but she would not open her eyes.
Oh, it was terrible. I had my hands covering my eyes so that if there was something scary, I could shut my eyes with my hands instantly.
So fear is something that can become like an intoxicating narcotic almost. It gives you an almost narcotic effect, a feeling of pleasure. It's a masochistic pleasure, right? The fear that you're feeling it's similar to a pain response, right? In that it's negative, but you associate the negative with the positive because this part of your brain that's being stimulated craves that hit of fear to make you feel alive. And right. people are bored, right? We don't have the same fears that they have in Haiti, right? People are bored and they search out drugs, alcohol, right? Sex.
let me not just put too fine a point on this, but this is how our media organizations run. They run on the assurance that they can make people afraid.
Oh, yeah.
This candidate is going to do this to you. Their policies are going to do X, Y, and Z. You know, if you don't do X, Y, and this happens on right and left, by the way. Fear is a motivator for people to become politically active as well. Scaring people, right?
I hate to say it, but that's why I became a libertarian. I watched Alex Jones. I started using spring water only because I was terrified of the fluoride in the water. I was terrified that the dollar was going to collapse. I started buying gold. I mean, this is what led me into libertarianism, not going to lie.
Fear.
Yes.
Fear.
Fear is a great way to control people, too. I mean, it just is. Fear is a great way to scare people into doing what you want.
Even though libertarians are all about freedom and do what you want, they control people.
Yes. The most successful libertarians are the ones who sell the most fear.
Yeah.
Right. They sell the most. I mean, the people, like, we don't truck in fear here on the Wake Up America show typically, unless it's something we think that's a rational fear. Yeah. We're not constantly saying the dollar is going to collapse. You have to buy gold because the economy is going to get destroyed and you're going to be trading and all that kind of stuff. Although the preppers did have a point when COVID-19 rolled around, right? The preppers definitely did well during that period. However, still, the ones who are the most famous tends to be the ones, and the ones who make the most money are the ones who terrorize the shit out of people. Yes. Correct. And then sell them the solution to their fears. Like, you were buying the purified water. That's the product.
I was
right?
anti-vax. Right. I was terrified.
I listen and read a lot about marketing, and one of the marketing podcasts I was listening talked about the primary motivators for sales, and fear is one of the big ones. Mm-hmm. Fear of missing out, right? FOMO, right? Fear of not fitting in, right? Fear. There's all kinds of fears.
Stanley cups, the Stanley drinking FOMO. Cups, because they want to fit in.
Right. It becomes a fad, and then they want to fit in, right? So, like, political fads operate very much in the same way, right? They operate in very much the same way. And fear.
You could say that the Haitian immigrant thing could be a sort of a fear thing. You could tie
to some extent, but my whole point in the discussion about Haitian voodoo, in the discussion, the first half of this show, was for the point to say that, like, be wary of Haiti, be wary of traveling to Haiti. If you should be afraid of going to Haiti as a Christian missionary. You should be afraid of going onto the beach of uncontacted tribes. Yes. Those are rational fears, reasonable fears. Like, you look at people and you go, why are you doing that? Is because you have a reasonable and a rational fear. But some people, they take it too far. They're afraid of everything. Mm-hmm. Right? They're afraid of their own shadow, and you realize that when you try and take it away from them, if you try and solve them of their fear, they will see you as their enemy.
Yes.
They don't want you to take away their fears.
Plato's cave.
Yes, they will try and kill you. They will try and censor you. They will try and silence you. Left, right, libertarian, socialist, doesn't matter. Everybody operates on this same psychological principle. Yep. Fear.
That's what helped me get through childbirth, gonna be honest. My fear of the epidural made me not want it. And so therefore I had a natural birth that was really painful.
Well, you had a reasonable expectation for that because of the conversations that you had, and you did your homework. And even my sister Jody said she wished she hadn't gotten it done because she's had residual after effects. So you're like, you know what? My body's born to do this, to have these babies and to do this naturally. So you did it naturally. And, you suffered some consequences from a natural birth. But I mean, for the most part, it was relatively mild, right? So, but Justin, in terms of fear and how it motivates us personally, for me, it's always, I definitely, I won't say I'm a fear addict, but I am sort of a threat, like a thrill chaser. Mm-hmm. I do love diving to the bottom of the ocean and hopefully seeing like a scary shark with big teeth. And I like skiing down the mountains.
You're an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonable. I've given up a lot of my fun and crazy things that I used to do now to have some more settled home life and stuff.
I can't believe you did that.
We were talking about this morning and stuff like that, some of the wild and crazy times I've had. But Justin, you've always, like, fear for you has been more of a stitch. It's been more of a pain, more of a thorn in your side rather than a motivator.
Well, yeah, I've recently come to the awareness that I'm a fearful avoidant. That is my attachment style. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't have growing up a stable relationship with people walking me through fear, because a lot of the adults scared me as a child.
Mhm.
And so, I grew up with a sense of like, oh, you're 5 years old. We're going to put you through this scary experience, or,
Mhm.
we're going to scare you, put on this scary mask and, so, I mean, as a young kid, I was like, this is unstable. So I have this
Right.
sort of relationship with fear. But I would say this, I have on my bedroom mirror, I wrote this: everything you want in life is on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
Right? I like to think of it, I've been describing this as a dragon on top of gold. The gold is the stuff in life that's worth getting, right? The gold is the good stuff. But the dragon, for me, is fear, right? And you have to slay the dragon to get to the gold. You can let the dragon sleep and stay, but you're not going to get the gold. But if you don't fight the dragon, you won't get the gold, right?
Yeah.
But
That's
you
true.
kind of have to fight the dragon. And so that's where, talking to yourself, and I was just talking to Stephanie about meditation, being able to not get involved with your scary thoughts and just realize that they're just thoughts. That's all they are. They're not real, right? And not becoming reactive to things. Learning to be non-reactive is something that I'm trying to cultivate in myself. Like if something's happening, I'm not going to react. I'm going to notice it, and I can decide if I want to react or not, but it's going to be my choice, not a habit that I'm just doing. Yeah.
I feel like one thing too, that like once you come out on the other side of this, is say that this sort of therapeutic approach that you're taking to it is successful. The ultimate, the zenith of this, Justin, is that you can actually use fear like a rocket fuel. Like it's like a booster. You can harness it, you can channel it, and you can use it as energy to drive you to accomplish goals and techniques and tactics. Because if you, for example, burn your boats, if let's say you get all the preparation and handling and ready, you're ready to go to battle, you're ready to do the job, you're ready to go out on stage, you're ready to do whatever it is, it's like you've done all the preparation, right? It's not like those dreams that you used to have about not being in Shakespeare and you don't know the lines and you're out on the thing. You know your lines, you know how to do the job, right? But and then you're getting ready to walk out on stage, or you're getting ready to take the risk to start the new business or whatever it is, the new project, the new Substack, whatever, right? That fear is stopping you, right? But once you've prepared yourself, maybe you've done some reading before you write your next Substack or whatever it is, because you got writer's block and you're afraid that you'll never be able to write something brilliant or whatever it is. Once you've read a little bit and gotten yourself in the preparation and the mood, you've set yourself into that situation, you can take the fear that's going to clench you, and then you can turn it like a fire hose and use it like a creative push to make you great. Because honestly, whenever I did stage stuff, I felt like I was better when I was afraid, when I was nervous.
Sure. Oh, yeah, because you're heightened up.
I made mistakes when I was not nervous, when I was cocky, when I thought I had everything together.
Mhm.
That's when I didn't have everything together. If I'm wondering, am I missing something? Is there something here? Then everything's okay. If I'm like walking out the door and not thinking about it, I forgot my phone, I forgot my thing or whatever, right?
That's why it's good for you to hang out with someone like me who's always anxious and like basically OCD, because I never forget nearly anything. And when I do,
Yes.
I freak out about it. And I'm like, I will never forget that again.
Now, baby Hazel just opened her eyes.
Because it's
her-
9 o'clock. She wakes up at 9 o'clock. That's
She
her
does.
wake time.
Yes, it's beautiful. Beautiful little angelic Hazel is up on the camera right now.
Her eyes are still an unknown color. We're
Yes.
trying to figure it out.
I think there's one is starting to turn brown. We don't know. Behind these hazel eyes.
Wouldn't it be funny if she had one blue eye and one brown eye? That'd be
Well,
What is that called? Heterochromia or something?
My niece, my sister's daughter, she actually has 2 different colored eyes. So that is possible.
We don't know. Our dad has hazel eyes, so could
My
be.
sister has hazel eyes.
Possible.
I think my dad has hazel eyes.
Be quite an
Yeah.
interesting situation if she ends up having hazel eyes. But I'm going to guess brown. So she's waking up. She's doing that little thing where she looks like she's hungry and maybe a little bit gassy.
She sucks on her hands.
Joni Rankin says preparation is everything about fear. Great stuff, AP. And also says baby Hazel needs me to burp her.
Oh no, she needs
Let me
food,
at her. Yeah,
actually.
she looks hungry. Yes.
Yeah, because every 3 hours she eats. So she just ate at 6 something. So it's about the 3
We
hour
got to go get the
point.
baby. Justin, anything else you want to say to our audience before we go? There she goes. She's exploding.
Her
I would
diaper's
say-
probably exploding.
Justin.
Fear, it is Friday the 13th, right?
Yes.
But fear is going to be there. It's just the relationship to fear that we have to work on. It's a relationship. What's our relationship to it going to be? Yeah.
Justin, thank you very much for your time. We love you. Glad you're here. Hope to see you next week. Hope to see you next week, brother. Love you very much. Stephanie, is there anything that you would like to say to the people before we go?
Oh, be free. I'm going to go feed a baby.
Go feed the baby. Stephanie, we love you. Thanks, guys, for watching the Wake Up America show. Thanks for all your support, financial and otherwise. Don't forget to click like. We'll see you guys here on Monday on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Bye, guys.
Unlocking the Wake Up America show's bonus content. Your financial support of the show helps us to grow and prosper. Today's story, DIY guns bring libertarianism to the world, says the New York Times. Innovation and defiance hobble government efforts at control. Illegal home-built guns are bringing libertarianism to the world. That's what the good people at the New York Times say. DIY firearms are also helping rebels fight oppressive regimes, and, as is inevitable when weapons make their way into the hands of regular people, fueling European officials' fears of crime and terrorism. This is a result of recent technological developments that severely cramp government's ability to enforce restrictions, including when it comes to the FGC-9, a partially 3D printed firearm. The Rattler is a weekly newsletter from JD to SEAL. If you care about government overreach and tangible threats to everyday liberty, this is for you. Libertarianism with a bang. This American brand of libertarianism has historically been a tough sell in many other parts of the world. Even if some people believed it in theory, strict laws made buying a gun so difficult that the ideology was almost beside the point, wrote Lizzie Dearden and Thomas Gibbons Neff in the Times. The FGC-9 is changing that. By libertarianism, Dearden and Gibbons Neff mean the familiar to reason readers, belief that people have the right to freely live their lives whether governments like it or not. The philosophy is on display at the website of Deterrence Dispensed, a loose online community of those interested in designing and building homemade firearms and ammunition. All individuals are entitled to the utility to defend their humanity, the group boasts. Gun control has failed. You can't stop the signal. There's no greater evidence of exactly that than the popularity of the FGC-9, the full name of which is the Fuck Gun Control 9. This model of homemade semi-automatic firearm, known as an FGC-9, has appeared in the hands of paramilitaries in Northern Ireland, rebels in Myanmar, and neo-Nazis in Spain, note Dearden and Gibbons Neff. In October, a British teenager will be sentenced for building an FGC-9 in one of the latest terrorism cases to involve the weapon. DIY weapons have a long history. Craft-made firearms aren't new. Gunmakers in Pakistan, the Philippines, and elsewhere have produced effective arms in conditions that are often surprisingly crude. Wherever people seek to acquire goods, firearms included, savvy entrepreneurs find ways to satisfy that demand, within or outside the law. But developments in computer numerical control, CNC technology, and 3D printing have made small-scale manufacturing easier and more accessible. That's great for people who need to make replacement parts for machinery on site, and for those seeking to evade prohibitions. The liberating potential of 3D printing first entered public awareness in 2013, with Cody Wilson's unveiling of the single-shot Liberator pistol. In 2018, a Rand Corporation report warned that with 3D printing, point of sale, consumption will no longer be an opportunity for governmental control of risky goods, such as firearms and drones. That was about the time that Jacob Duigu, a former German soldier known online as J Stark, designed the original FGC-9. It's a hybrid project, combining 3D printed parts with components available off the shelf from hardware stores to build a semi-automatic 9mm carbine. Under his pseudonym, Duigu and his creation were featured in the documentary Plastic Defense: Secret 3D Printed Guns in Europe. Duigu died under mysterious circumstances in 2021 after being questioned by German police. But his design was refined and updated by Ivan the Troll, whom the Times identifies as John Ellick, a licensed Illinois firearms manufacturer. Plans for the FCG-9 MKY are available here. Licensed as he is, his activities don't violate even the draconian laws of his unfortunate state. I unsuccessfully reached out to Ivan Ellick for comment, but he may be a tad media shy after having his identity splashed across the world by a major newspaper. The original FGC-9 and the revised version have found immense popularity around the globe, arming the world. While countless 3D printed guns have been designed and circulated on the internet, international law enforcement officials say that the FGC-9 is by far the most common, add Dearden and Gibbons Neff. The Times reporters talk a lot about far-right extremists, militias, terrorists, and criminals arming themselves with DIY guns, and it's understandable that goods severely restricted by law would disproportionately make it into the hands of people who are particularly unimpressed by laws. They concede, though, that no law enforcement official has yet linked an FGC-9 to a homicide. The liberating potential of a firearm that's relatively easy to build in a small shop is apparent from the rebel who is fighting Myanmar's oppressive government and tells the Times that a lot of people use them in reference to FGC-9S. The source adds that the DIY guns are mostly selected for personal defense, since they don't stand up well in the jungle to combat conditions. That, of course, is the whole purpose of the DIY weapons movement, ensuring that people have the means to defend themselves against those who might do them harm. People have the right to that means, say its proponents, whether those who prey on them are freelance criminals or governments. It's not just a gun, it is also an ideology, a Swedish intelligence officer told the Times. An existential threat to gun control. In fact, the movement that developed the FGC-9, the Liberator in 2013, and handcrafted weapons before that is much more than its output. It's an effort, originally disorganized but increasingly coordinated, to bypass prohibitions and render attempts to disarm the public irrelevant. It's effective. Globally, privately made firearms still represent a small percentage of illicit firearms, but that is changing quickly in some regions, according to a 2023 paper from Switzerland's Small Arms Survey. If production technologies continue to improve and proliferate, privately made firearms will increasingly erode the effectiveness of export controls and other key elements of national and international small arms control regimes, and may eventually pose an existential threat to these regimes. Officials and hand-wringers fret that terrorists, extremists, and criminals will end up armed, but they've never seemed to have a problem acquiring what they want in the past. Besides, in a world in which governments have vast armories, keeping weapons out of the hands of bad people is obviously a lost cause. Ensuring that people are free despite the best efforts of rulers is an ideological movement when it comes to guns or anything else. Through innovation and defiance, libertarianism is getting a boost around the world.
Years ago, we started this journey together, bringing you the Wake Up America show every morning. I couldn't have done it without my incredible wife, Steffi, who's always by my side, and now our beautiful baby, Hazel, who's already getting used to studio life, waiting patiently during Freedom Family Fridays. But what truly makes this show special is you. Your donations, your purchases from forlibertyshop.com. You're not just supporters, you're family. Together we've built something amazing, and we're just getting started. Thank you for being a part of our family. Here's to many more years of Wake Up America.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP4 Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks, just pure patriotic pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your Founding Flavors at ap4libertyshop.com.